What's up, guys? It's your girl T, aka the nappy headed jojoba, and we're back for another Save Your Money Saturday. I did one of these last Saturday where I was just talking about all the things I wanted to buy, really wanted to buy, but that I'm not gonna buy. The fact of the matter is, I only got one face, I only got one head of hair, and I have way too much stuff for both of those. And that got me to thinking of all the things I've purchased over the years that I've never even touched. It is disgraceful the amount of makeup I purchased, particularly I would say prior to 2018. I think I finally realized that I was being an insane person toward the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, and my spending habits have slowed down quite a bit, or really they've shifted more because now I'm just buying a lot of clothes. But when it comes to hair and makeup products, I've accumulated so much and I have a lot of things that I've never touched. So I just kind of wanted to go through some of these things where it's embarrassing. I'm not proud of this. Shame. But these are products that I've purchased and never used. Before I jump into everything, you'll notice that a lot of the products, aside from the hair products, but most of the makeup products are going to be eyeshadow palettes. And that's because I seem to be pretty good about actually trying out things that expire. So foundations, complexion products, lip products more often than not, things like that. I do tend to try those after I use them because the expiration on those is a lot shorter. But when it comes to powder products, they low-key kind of last almost forever. I mean, not really. Once you dip into them and start essentially contaminating them through use, the lifespan does shorten. But these are all things I've never touched, and I think I've been holding on to them because there's this idea in my head that, oh, well, they're still good. I'll get to it later. That is, of course, ridiculous, and I'm not even going through everything I have that I've never used, but it's a good chunk of it, and I'm thinking what I'll probably do is concede that if I haven't used these things at this point, I probably never will, and I think I'm going to put a lot of them on my Poshmark. I've let you guys know that I do have a Poshmark closet, and I learned that you can actually list new makeup, unused makeup on there. So I think I'm going to be selling some of these off, on the low, definitely for far less than what I paid because they're just taking up space here. And if it's something that you think you might enjoy, you may as well pick it up on the cheap. I will, of course, leave my Poshmark closet name in the description box. And by the way, this video is not sponsored. I have done sponsored videos with Poshmark in the past, but this ain't one of them, girl. Enough prelude. Let's jump into this. I'm going to start off with the makeup stuff, and then I'll get into the hair stuff. First up is the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick Compact in the shade Sunset Pink. I have, I think, two other Bobbi Brown highlighters, both in bronze glow kind of shades. I have one of them, which is indeed the Shimmer Brick style. Even though I've never used this, there does seem to be some product that's collected around the edges of this. But here you can see the colors. It's definitely pretty. I imagine just getting jostled around in the box is why it's got a little bit of the product around the edges there, but I've never even swatched it. I mean, I swatched it in store, of course, but I've never used it, never touched it, and I think I'm going to part ways with it because at this point, I feel like I know well enough what kind of highlighters I go for. I've got more than enough, and I don't need to keep this one. Next up is this duo from Becca. This is a champagne split where it's got a shimmering skin perfector highlighter and then a blush on the other side. The highlighter shade is Champagne Pop, and then the blush shade is Hyacinth. This is, of course, from their infamous collab with Jaclyn Hill. As you can see, it's still got the little plastic thingy on top there, but you can see the shades. Very pretty, would probably be very complimentary on my skin tone. I've never used this, obviously, for a few reasons. Number one, I already have Champagne Pop in another face palette when they were doing palette after palette after palette with Champagne Pop. And because I barely use the Champagne Pop in the other palette I already have, I wasn't necessarily thinking about this just to reach for the blush. So this was definitely not one that was worth it for me to purchase. But if you're in the market for Champagne Pop and a nice blush, especially if you got a deeper complexion, I think this will be really pretty. Have at it, it'll be in my Poshmark store. Next up is the Enchanted Secrets palette by Linda Hallberg. This is actually one that I haven't had sitting around quite as long as the previous two items I've showed you. And this one will not be going up for sale because I do still really want to try this out because I wanted this palette for over a year. Here it is. There are these duochrome, more topper type of shades, I would say. I mean, you can use them on your own, but I feel like they're more topper shades. You can use them wet or dry. And I'd wanted this palette for so long, but it was a pricey item, so I waited until I could catch it on a sale. At long last, Linda Hallberg had a sale, I want to say in November, not quite around Black Friday, maybe a little bit before. So I picked it up then, and it's so funny that after waiting to get this palette for so long, I wasn't foaming at the mouth to actually use it once it arrived. I mean, I've got it now and I keep meaning to use it, but every time I sit down and do my makeup, I just reach for something else. So I definitely need to commit to coming up with a look using this palette, and obviously more than one, because I don't want to use the palette once and then feel like I still wasted my money. Next up is a palette that became very coveted because it was limited edition, and the company really meant it when they said that, and that is the ABH Master Palette by Mario. I think this one was a YouTube made me buy it type of situation, because I don't think I was especially even taken with the colors, but again, still got the little plastic thingy. Still got the brush and the little plastic sleeve and everything. I think because of the hype around this, I was just like, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I gotta get it. And I've never touched it. I feel like there are probably people out there who used up this palette and would love to have it. So I'm debating over whether I'm going to put this one up for sale or not. I mean, the colors are super muted and I feel like they're very pretty and probably very wearable, but I don't know, it just doesn't necessarily inspire me when I look at it, so I may go ahead and put this one up for sale. But as I said, this one became a huge cult classic, and I still feel like, I want to be part of the movement. I want to actually see what all the hype was about and actually try to use it and see if maybe I like it more in use, even though I don't find it particularly inspiring when I just look at the colors in the pans. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to sell this one off or not. Next up, we have not one, but two Pat McGrath palettes. These are, of course, the mini mothership palettes that come with 6 shades, and sometime around, I want to say, the end of summer last year, 2018, they were running a special where you could get all 3 of them. So here are 2, and then there's a third one I have, which I've actually used. So I'm a little proud of that, even though I've only used it once. That's the Bronze Ambition. But then obviously there were 2 more in the set of 3, which is the La Vie en Rose, which is the one I was most excited for, and the Platinum Bronze. My fellow makeup lovers will have seen these before, but here is the Platinum Bronze. Very pretty cool tone palette. I do love me some cool tones. And then this one would be the fun one of the 3 with some pinks and purples. And there she goes. I was able to get a set of the 3 palettes and then stacked a coupon code on top of that because I saw that, you know, if you sign up for their email newsletter, you get a code for 10% off or something like that. So I did that, and then that wound up making the palettes around $40 each, which is by no means cheap. But I'd never tried anything Pat McGrath before, so I slept on it a couple nights, and I saw that the promotion was still running, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger, and I have not used these 2 palettes at all. I don't know why it is. In fact, I don't know why I haven't used the Bronze Ambition one a second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. time, because I really liked the way my makeup looked. I've worn it on camera. I'll try to remember to link the video where I'm wearing it in the description box. But I don't know, as much as I loved that makeup and as much as I was interested in these palettes and as much as people sing the praises of Mother Pat all the time, I just never reach for these. I don't know if maybe I'm just a little bit intimidated by them or what, but I really need to just get it together and try these out. So those are going in my keep pile with my enchanted secrets from Linda Hallberg. 2 more makeup items before we get into hair. This is from MAC Holiday a few years ago. This is the Objects of Affection set of pigments. Very, very pretty. I bought this for one reason and one reason only. Pixie Woo, Sam, not Nick. She did a tutorial using this around that holiday season, and I was so taken by how pretty her makeup turned out. I was just like, oh, I gotta get that. And clearly I never recreated the look. I think much like with those Pat McGrath palettes, I'm intimidated by pigments. I've never really used them. I mean, I've dibble-dabbled a little bit in loose shadows and things, but straight up pigments, they're just a little scary to me. I'm not sure if I would get it right, and I think that's why these have been sitting in my drawer. Even though I look at them or even think about them, I'm just like, I really want to try to recreate that look, but I don't want to mess it up. And I don't know why I'm so stressed about that, because it's just makeup. It washes off. Since these are, again, pigments, these will still last me a good while yet, especially since I haven't dipped into them at all. So I'm gonna hold on to these and hopefully get the guts to try them soon. Last is the only makeup product that is not a powder, this'll last me forever type of situation. situation. It's actually a lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury, and it's in the shade The Queen. It is a matte lipstick, and it was a limited edition shade. Hopefully you can see that there. It's a pink color. I will go ahead and swatch this just for shits and gigs. Very pretty berry pink type of situation. This was one where I think I just fell for the hype of the shade being limited edition. It looked really pretty in the swatches on the model's lips when I was looking at it online, because she generally will do swatches on 2 to 3 different complexions, so you can kind of gauge how it will look on you, and it looked really nice for my complexion or thereabouts. And I'm not entirely sure why I haven't worn this, except for I don't tend to wear bright pinks all that often. It wasn't prudent for me to spend that type of coin on a shade that I wouldn't get a lot of mileage out of. Had it been a red or a beigey nude, hell yeah, definitely worth it for me, because I wear those types of shades all the time. But shades like this, while I do admire them, I tend to admire them more from afar rather than actually putting them on my face hole. My natural lip shade is a pink. It's sort of a pinky, well, the top lip is more of a pinky mauve and the bottom lip is just pink. So more often than not, I'll just put like a sheer pink gloss on top if I want to have a pink pout. But vibrant, bright pinks, not generally my thing so much. So that was a poor choice. Obviously, since I've swatched it, I'm not going to be selling that or anything, but I just thought you guys might want to see it. Moving right along into hair, the first item is something that some of y'all will have seen me haul in my haul from, I want to say, November of last year. The collective haul where I showed you guys things that I had purchased over the last several months. Well, it's several months later and I still have not even tried this. This is the Main Choice 3-in-1 Revitalize and Refresh Conditioner. This states that it can be used as a co-wash, leave-in, or detangler. Now, I did get this on clearance for some reason because the product is not discontinued at all. And I've heard good things about it, but I think even on clearance, it was still pretty pricey. For that reason, I know that when I do use it, I will definitely be using it as a leave-in type of situation, but haven't touched it yet. It's actually my first time even smelling it. Ooh, it's quite fragrant. Ooh, girl. So I need to give this a shot. I've definitely been leaning more toward my tried and true leave-ins and moisturizers since doing my Apogee treatment, because, you know, that's a hardcore protein treatment. I don't want to fuck around with anything that's not going to actually leave my hair moisturized. I need things I can count on. But even well before that, this has been sitting on my shelf. So until I feel confident to try a new leave-in after it's been a little while since my Apogee treatment, then and only then will I be dipping into this. The same is true for this next leave-in. This is the TGIN Green Tea Super Moist Leave-In Conditioner. I don't really know why I picked this up. This was definitely an impulse buy, but I think it seemed like a good deal for the size of the container. This is a 13 fluid ounce container compared to the 8 ounces you get with the Main Choice one. And I think the price point was similar or lower. The other main reason I was curious to try this is I've tried their Honey Miracle Hair Mask and loved it. It was a long time ago and I haven't repurchased it yet, only because I have other products I need to work through first, but that definitely would be a repurchase if I were out of deep conditioner and I needed something that I could grab easily, because they do sell this locally, which is nice. Even though that is the only other product I've tried from this line, I do have high hopes for this leave-in. I just haven't tried it yet. Don't really know why, but hopefully soon. The next item I've had on my shelf for a couple months now and still haven't tried is the Shea Moisture Argan Oil and Almond Milk Smooth and Tame Blowout Creme. Probably can't even see that because of the light, but it will be in the description box, of course. I picked this up because Shea Moisture made my previous favorite blow dry product. Granted, I very rarely blow dry my hair, but their professional line, which has been discontinued, they had a product in that line that came in a spray bottle that I freaking loved for any kind of heat styling, really. I felt like it was lightweight but still moisturized my hair nicely for any, you know, roller sets that I was going to be sitting under the dryer for, or if I was going to actually be straight up blow drying. Of course, as soon as I fall in love with the product, it gets discontinued, especially if it's a Shea Moisture product. But since I can't get that anymore, I thought I'd try another blowout cream from them. This is a completely different texture. It's way thicker. It's more of your cream-based leave-in type of situation. I don't know if I'm going to like it as much. I mean, hopefully, but I already feel like it was probably not the best choice for me, because I don't want a super heavy product if I'm going to be going in with heat styling, because I don't want anything that's going to weigh down my hair. I need the best of both worlds. I need something that's lightweight, but also efficient at moisturizing my hair. Time will tell if this is or ain't it, but I'm not super optimistic. Last but not least, we have a product from my favorite line, Diva Curl. A lot of you guys know that I have been doing experiments with the Wash Day Wonder Detangler, which I think is actually a great product. It's just overpriced, which is generally true about everything from Diva Curl. But I just wanted to try out their actual product line. This is their Diva Curl Decadence line, which I think is geared more toward the kinkiest and curliest of hair textures, because I've always felt that Diva Curl wasn't really checking for me, to be perfectly honest. People with my hair texture generally are not super represented, period. And I certainly didn't feel particularly represented in Diva Curl's marketing materials pretty much ever. But on the back of this, you can see a beautiful lady who's got hair that looks a lot like mine. Furthermore, I have not seen a ton of people on YouTube with my hair texture do reviews on Diva Curl Wash Day products. There's just not that many. So I picked this up wanting to take one for the team and do a wash day with it and just see how it worked out. This has actually been on my shelf longer than the Wash Day Wonder. I picked this up first and I just haven't had the guts to try it, honestly. I think I've just been afraid, like, what if it doesn't work? Because I really don't like trying more than one new product on a particular wash day. It's actually one of the tips I give in my everything I did and did not do to grow my hair 25 inches long. I say in that video, I really need to be able to drill down on what is or is not working for my hair, and trying a bunch of things at once is a great way to just confuse yourself and not know who to blame and who to praise in terms of your results at the end of your wash day. Nonetheless, I still think that it would behoove us all for me to give this a go and see if this is actually worth our money. I'm a little bit bolstered by the fact that, again, despite the price tag, I do think that Wash Day Wonder product is really good, even for my hair texture. So Wash Day video coming soonish. As soon as I get the guts to step away from the things that I know and trust and put all of my faith in Diva Curl. That is it for this Save Your Money Saturday. As you can see, over the past few years, I've done anything but save my money, and now I have lived to regret it. Bit by bit, day by day, week by week, and month by month, I am doing better. And I'm also being way more realistic about what I can use up in a reasonable amount of time before things start going off. So if you're in the market for some new eyeshadows, mainly powder, actually probably exclusively powder-based products, because those do last a very long time, be sure to check out my Poshmark, because I will be listing a lot of the items I just showed you and more on there. So yeah, if you want to pick up some discount makeup that has literally never been touched, I'm your girl. That is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me on yet another Saturday. I will link last week's Save Your Money Saturday video right here in case you missed it. And other than that, take it sleazy. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.